For countless generations, yeast has been a trusted companion in the baking world. Its primary role? To serve as a leavening agent, helping breads and other baked items rise. When we add yeast to dough, it kicks off a fermentation process, turning carbohydrates into alcohol and carbon dioxide. You might have noticed dough becoming puffier as it rests. That's the carbon dioxide at work, inflating the dough. As for the alcohol produced, it's behind the tempting aroma of breads, although most of alcohol evaporates when baked. Now, there's another player in the baking game: gluten. When gluten meets water, they create a stretchy protein network. This network acts like a net, trapping the carbon dioxide released by the yeast. The result? Light, airy bread. But here's a catch: not all grains have gluten. Oats and buckwheat, for example, are gluten-free. So, to help these grains rise, bakers sometimes add wheat. Safety of yeast consumption. Given that yeast has been in our foods and drinks for ages, it's widely recognized as safe. Moreover, the yeast in high temperature during baking are neutralized. In 2020 study, which looked into 19 different research papers, confirmed the safety of yeast in baked products. Another study in 2021 stated opposite: yeast can be beneficial for gut health and reduced inflammation from yeast. But, as with all new findings, more research is on the horizon. There's been chatter about some breads being labeled 0% yeast. This is because some folks believe yeast might cause tummy troubles like bloating. However, science hasn't found any real evidence to back this up. On a similar note, while yeast cells do contain purines which can turn into uric acid, the amounts in regular bread servings aren't worrisome for most. Yeast causes candidiasis. Baking yeast have no connection to candidiasis because it is caused different species called Candida albicans. But when we talk about yeast, especially in baking and brewing, we're referring to Saccharomyces cerevisiae. So they have no connection. Even both of them are yeasts. But let's not mix up yeast and mold, especially when we're talking about bread. Ever noticed how old bread sometimes turns blue or green? That's mold, not yeast. Common molds like Penicillium and Aspergillus can make bread go bad. If you see mold, it's a sign the bread has spoiled and it's best to throw it away. Now, back to baking. When yeast gets to work in dough, it eats some of the sugars. This process can reduce the bread's carbohydrate content. This is important because it can affect the bread's glycemic index, GI, that's a measure of how quickly blood sugar levels rise after eating. There's more. When making certain breads, like sourdough, the fermentation process creates organic acids. These acids can slow down how quickly our stomach processes food, which means sugar from starch is released more slowly. This results in steadier blood sugar levels after eating. Fermentation also changes the way starch is structured in bread. This means our body digests it more slowly, which can be another reason for a lower GI. Here's something interesting. A 2019 study in the journal Nutrients found that using yeast to ferment bread could lower its GI by up to 20%. Not just that, this process can also increase the amount of resistant starch in the bread. Unlike regular starch, our body doesn't digest resistant starch, so it doesn't affect our blood sugar.